It's Jen and Carolyn. We're back this week in the first week of fall to have another Mendo Seed Talks. And we're masked up still because we're still in a pandemic. We've got a nice breeze today, which is great for winnowing. So we're gonna get into a little winnowing and cleaning of seed. So these are leeks. And they have this beautiful inflorescence of flowers. Each one of these was a beautiful little purple flower, and the bees just love to come and visit them. And then they have a few little seeds inside the little, what's left of the inflorescence. They're kind of challenging to get out. They hold really tight, so you need to really aggressively rub them on a screen. So the seed that you're seeing being cleaned today, this seed will end up at the seed library, and you'll be able to check it out and take it home and grow it in your own garden. This particular variety is Bandit. Leeks have different maturation dates depending on the variety, so you can plant a number of different varieties at the same time and then have some leeks ready by Thanksgiving, some that are ready early in the spring, and some that will hold and not bolt quite late in the spring. And Bandit is the one that holds the longest. So they went right through that first screen, and they're getting kind of trapped by this smaller screen. But the screen helps hold on to a lot of the chaff, which is the stuff you don't want. That's the plant, the kind of this tan plant material. Well, let's see what happens if we try to winnow this. Okay. I think we'll fall through this. So winnowing is a really lovely practice, and it, many cultures have been doing it for many, many hundreds, thousands of years. You can see it blowing away the lighter chaff, and the dark black seed is falling into the tray. You can use a fan to blow it, or you can even, use your own. Just not in a group. Right, not in a group setting right now. Okay, it's still have quite a bit. Mm-hmm. And then just the lighter chaff. And you just keep working this until you get nice clean seed. So it's kind of a nice meditative process. And what I found was I picked it up really quickly, because I think it's just this, it's this really old technique, and I think that we still actually, know those techniques. It's not that hard to learn how to do it. So seed saving really is a whole nother part of gardening. You can see that it takes time, and you need to leave the plant all the way to maturity to produce seed. And in the case of leeks, that's almost a 2-year process to start the seed in flats, grow it out in the greenhouse, put the transplants out, and then let it go past the harvest date and dry down enough to harvest it. But you get the really incredible, so when these are in full bloom, they're a beautiful periwinkle, kind of blue-purple, and the bees love them, so they draw in pollinators into your garden, which are really beneficial for all of your garden. And it enlivens the whole garden process to be sharing the space with other living things. So this is Ben Shemin. It was a lettuce developed in Israel, and it's more bolt resistant, meaning it can tolerate more heat than most. It's a green, loose leaf lettuce, and when I've grown it, I get really big, luscious heads from it. So I really like this variety. So this is in the sunflower family, believe it or not. Really? And it's, it looks like little dandelion puffs. And the dandelions are also in the sunflower family.
They have a very interesting flower. Each little petal is in itself a flower, not just a petal. So every single gray flower and then the center little disc flowers turns into a seed on the sunflower.
So it's like multi-flower. It's really
Composite. It's many flowers together on a platform.
You know, want to do this as fast as possible, so we just kind of. So that got most of the seed off there. And at home, you know, I've used sieves before we got these really nice screens. And that, you can see I throw that stuff on the ground. It you know, can just right in the compost.
And the lettuce flowers mature at different times. And if you leave it too long, the birds will come and eat them and the wind will blow them away. So I just try to make sure that, you know, there have been some that have matured and kind of gone away, and then try to get it when about 50% of it is just making those little dandelion puffs that are open and ready to fly away. And then some haven't even reached maturity yet. And I'll cut it off and put it very, very loosely in a bag to catch seed and let it dry down all the way. You don't want to put it in when it's too green or it will mold and the seed won't be mature yet.
So you can just, you know, when you plant your planting of lettuce, you can just leave 10 plants along one edge or one end of the bed, or you can decide, you know, which 10 plants are the best looking, most beautiful, and let those go to seed. There are some varieties. Merlot is one of them, and it's you know, that deep dark red variety that we like. And the really wonderful thing about Merlot is when it bolts, a lot of lettuces get bitter and nasty tasting. But as Merlot bolts and goes to flower, it still tastes good, and you can still harvest the leaves and continue to eat it.
You don't want much of a wind on this because the seeds themselves are so tiny. And you can kind of adjust. If it's really windy, you would just hold it down closer so the seeds didn't blow away. This is almost clean on the first pass.
I would like, you know, the chaff to stay here and for the seed to go through. So I don't see any seed there. I see just the chaff. And so we're getting more seed and less chaff. All right, well then the rest would have to be cleaned by winnowing. But you can see that we're getting to a lot more seed and a lot less chaff. There were not seed companies 100 years ago that they could go and buy seed from. So they had to save seed and they had to clean their seed. And this is basically how they did it. Everybody knew how to do this. It was just basic home skills.
You know, we just saw the lettuce seed, and just like dandelions, these seed are dispersed by wind. The little parachutes on the seed, once it's mature, the old flower just opens up and releases those little parachutes and carries the lettuce seed off to disperse itself. Some are spread by birds or animals, like the sunflowers. We sat in class once and counted how many sunflower seeds this blue jay could stuff in his mouth at once, and it got at least 12 in there before it flew off.
Wow.
And
so what do we have today that shatters?
This red mustard, and it's in the brassica, or same family as broccoli.
Are you going to want a bowl? Or?
Yeah. And the little seed capsules reach maturity, and then they pop and throw the seed out. And you have to be really careful with these. You want to make sure that you've let it go to maturity enough so that the seed is mature, but you want to catch it before the plant starts to pop and disperse the seeds. So again, I look at that, they start flowering down low on the stem and then continue to flower as the stalk elongates. So you get more matured seed down at the bottom of the stalk and sometimes still even flower buds at the top. And you have to just sort of choose a time when kind of the majority of the seed looks ripe and put it in a bag so that you don't lose it. And then they'll pop apart very, very easily. And many of these just popped apart and I've got a lot of seed down in the bottom of this bag. Another way you can help get these released is to put them in a pillowcase and then gently step on it to break apart the seed pods. Let's put it through a screen.
Okay. So what I often will do is put my really fine screen down, and then I will put a coarse screen on top, and the fine screen will catch what falls through. And so this is probably too big. Because a lot of the pods are going through as well. Okay, so that. Ooh, I heard them go through. That was satisfying. Yeah, pretty much. There's maybe some that didn't go through. That were fatties. But look at that. That's great. And then you would winnow out the rest of that chaff, which isn't very much.